pollution. If you enjoy our channel, hit like and subscribe.
The feds are coming for extremist gamers. The Department of Homeland Security and FBI are in dialogue with Roblox, Discord, Reddit, and others.
Yeah, extremist. I mean, I'm sure they have well-defined parameters of what an extremist is, and I don't know, the gaming community, as silly as all that sounds. But I also have no doubt that they're gonna do a lot of overstepping now, as if all of this controversy and news with Sweet Baby Inc. wasn't bad enough. These DEI consultant companies. I mean, it's not just that one company. There's probably hundreds. I don't know, but it's a nightmare. And now we have the official government adding to this nightmare.
Oh, they're just gonna make a mess out of everything. Just everything.
So I'm gonna let the article read a little bit of itself to you.
Gaming companies are coordinating with the FBI and Department of Homeland Security to root out so-called domestic violent extremist content, according to a new government report. Noting that mechanisms have been established with social media companies to police extremism, the report recommends that the national security agencies establish new and similar processes with the vast gaming industry. The exact nature of the cooperation between federal agencies and video game companies, which has not been previously reported, is detailed in a new Government Accountability Office report. The report draws on interviews conducted with 5 gaming and social media companies including Roblox, an online gaming platform, Discord, a social media app commonly used by gamers, Reddit, as well as a game publisher and social media company that asked the GAO to remain anonymous. The Intercept reached out to the companies identified in the GAO report for comment, but none responded on the record at time of publication. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, have mechanisms to share and receive domestic violent extremism threat-related information with social media and gaming companies, the GAO says. The report reveals that the DHS Intelligence Office meets with gaming companies and that the companies can use these meetings to share information with INA DHS's Intelligence Office about online activities promoting domestic violent extremism, or even simply, activities that violate the company's terms of service. Through its 56 field offices and hundreds of resident agencies' subordinate field offices, the FBI receives tips from gaming companies of potential law-breaking and extremist views for further investigation. The FBI also conducts briefings to gaming companies on purported threats. The GAO warns that FBI and DHS lack an overarching strategy to bring its work with gaming companies in line with broader agency missions. Without a strategy or goals, the agencies may not be fully aware of how effective their communications are with companies, or how effective their information-sharing mechanisms serve the agency's overall missions, the GAO says. The report ends with a recommendation that both agencies develop such a strategy, a recommendation that DHS concurred with, providing an estimated completion date of June 28 this year. All I can think of is the awful track record of the FBI when it comes to identifying extremism, Hassan Piker, a popular Twitch streamer who often streams while playing video games under the handle Hassanabi, says of the mechanisms. They're much better at finding vulnerable teenagers with mental disabilities to take advantage of.
Yeah, I believe that person who was quoted, well, nicely quoted, they're best at finding teenagers with mental disabilities to take advantage of. I mean, it reminds me of that time they deemed ICP and all of their followers a gang.
Oh, good Lord. That's not a gang.
Oh yeah, they go whoop whoop
Whoop whoop.
and I mean, I've never been chased by a gang of juggalos.
No, in fact, juggalos are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure there's exceptions, but juggalos are generally quite nice and help you out.
Yeah, they'll help you out when nobody else will. But this article, I can't believe, well, no, I can believe it. The feds are coming after gamers. That's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
And to continue the article here, they're under pressure from Congress to top gaming companies to crack down on extremist content. Now, this also reminds me of the satanic panic of the 80s,
Oh, I remember that.
where they cracked down on D&D and Aussie music. I mean, that D&D and Aussie is two of the greatest things ever.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, who was that reporter He had a daytime talk show. You know who I'm talking about?
Gerardo or whatever they
Oh,
called him.
Geraldo, yeah.
Maybe is what was he?
Geraldo
What was he,
Rivera.
Spanish?
Yeah.
I don't speak that well.
But
I don't roll my R's and all that.
I remember being a kid in school coming back and all the parents on the block was talking about all this satanic stuff and they was making all the kids burn all their music and shit. You know? They were making all the kids burn all their music and stuff. You know what I mean? It's the
Yeah,
same
and
thing.
they were steamrolling albums, on the news and all kinds of silliness.
Burning all kind of D and
And
D
while the
stuff.
heavy metal artists were like, "Hey, we can play into this,"
Yeah.
none of them were worshiping the devil. I
No.
mean, I've known real Satanists, and there are different types of Satanists that follow. Some of them more literal, and some of them less literal. Some of them are closer to atheists. Some of them are downright nice. I mean, you can disagree with someone and still they're still a decent person.
True. I mean, if everybody agreed with everything all the time, the world would be dull. That's what I think.
Yeah, and we thought that Sweet Baby was bad. Now it's like Sweet USA, I guess.
Well, didn't you see on Reddit where there was a whole list of those companies?
Yeah, and I'm sure that's not anywhere near a complete list. What's worse yet is that list that the user post it was immediately deleted by a mod. It's damage control. Uh, last I, unless I'm mistaken, last I seen, Amazon owned Reddit.
Yeah, I think so.
So all these, big corporate companies, they're gonna toe the line. And if you haven't seen from other videos, BlackRock, if I'm remembering the name right, is the giant company behind it. They they've even been on record saying that people have to have behavior forced on them. They
Oh,
have to have their behavior forced a certain way.
well, people are not dogs. You
Okay, well,
can't, you know.
they're telling them basically they're not gonna get any loans from anybody to help start up their games or their TV shows or whatever without BlackRock's approval.
Oh, that's
The
bad.
question is why is BlackRock trying to force this crap down everybody's throat? I mean, being sensitive is one thing. I'm not saying hate on anyone, but this forced behavior is putting hate on people.
Yeah, and it's just going to end bad for everybody.
And now we have the FBI and whatever other companies or organizations they named in this article, and possibly many more, backing it up. And they're gonna be far reaching with it. They're going to go to extremes, and a lot of innocent people are gonna be hurt as a result.
Yeah, but they don't care. It's
Now,
all about the money, I bet.
if there are indeed violent extremist groups, I I want them to catch them. We need to get rid of these people. But the problem comes in when it's overreaching rules and laws, just like the what they do at the airports now.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
after the terrorist attack on America.
yeah, well, I don't want to, say anything too bad, but America's been terrorizing the world for
But
years.
this is YouTube. We have to play word minefield. It's like you have to dance so hard not to trigger YouTube.
Yeah, well, it makes it hard to really have a decent
Yeah, it
conversation.
it makes it almost impossible to have a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just sit down and talk, you know, because you got to watch what you say because you don't want to
Yeah, it's like the
offend
only
YouTube.
outlet that people have, for the most part, is an outlet where anybody providing anything to them has to provide them marshmallow fluff
Yeah.
and nothing else. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Even using words for the terms they agree with can be triggers to get taken down or demonetized or stricken for sensitivity or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, well, it's not fair. It's just another
And
form of thought
you
control.
sure can't talk about any serious topics.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but this is so messed up. What's going on here?
It says here President Joe Biden directed his national security team to conduct a comprehensive review of federal efforts to fight domestic terrorism, which the White House deemed the most urgent terrorism threat facing the United States, greater than foreign terrorist groups like Islamic State groups. Biden's directive results the first ever national strategy for fighting domestic terrorism. Really, I
Terrorism.
know I can.
Well, you
Released
probably said it better than Biden did.
released by the White House in June 2021. The strategy mentions online gaming platforms as a place where recruiting and mobilizing individuals to domestic terrorist groups.
Yeah, I can see it. It's like people get hit, they get blown to bits, and it's like, who did it? Who did it? I don't know. All we know is they left painted on a wall. WOW.
Oh my lord.
I mean, okay, I know how silly that is, and it's probably not the way it goes down if it does indeed go down at all. But this is just absurd.
Yeah, well, the world we live in is an absurd place now.
I'm thinking the mass majority of terrorists, if not all of them, do not meet up on online games.
Yeah, I mean, why in the they got to have better sense than that. I mean, really. Because all their stuff would be tracked, you know?
Maybe there is something I'm missing. Maybe there is a real threat here. But even if there is, I'm just worried about the overreach this is going to cause and the personal freedoms is going to be removed from us.
Well, the thing is what they're gonna find is a bunch of 12-year-olds getting on there, getting on those games and stuff and trash talking. That's all they're gonna find.
Maybe.
And they're gonna arrest them because those said 12-year-olds can say some pretty horrible stuff, you know? But, is this all of this article that we're gonna talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I can only say so much about this. It is absurd. And if such a thing is happening in online gaming, there's got to be a better way than impeding on everyone's personal freedoms by spying into all of their games. I mean, at this rate, I would much rather have the days of, say, Super Nintendo, where you buy a cartridge and you stick it in the console and play it and
Yeah.
get a 4-player adapter for get some of your friends over. But what am I talking about? Of course, those were better days where you actually went out to see friends and hung out together.
Yeah. And you wasn't people weren't afraid to do those kinds of things and
And
that,
they weren't like, this isn't in 4K at 120 frames per second. This is crap.
yeah, I know. I don't I don't get that either. But I guess we are relics, you know. Well, that's going to do it for us today, folks. We hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, if you like our content, you can hit subscribe. We are on YouTube and Rumble. We'll see you on the next one.